What's the most touching thing a complete stranger has done for you? After my father's funeral last year, I needed to escape the sympathetic faces and hushed conversations. I found myself in a small diner 3 towns over, sitting alone in a corner booth just staring at my coffee. I'd barely slept in days. Between arranging the service, comforting my mother, and dealing with relatives, I hadn't processed my own grief. Dad had been my hero, my constant supporter, and his sudden heart attack at 58 left me feeling like the ground had disappeared beneath my feet. The elderly waitress, her name tag read Darlene, must have noticed something was wrong. When she brought my food, she paused, studying my face. "You remind me of my son," she said quietly. "He always sits exactly like that when something's weighing on him." I nodded politely, not wanting conversation. But when she returned to refill my coffee, she set down a piece of apple pie I hadn't ordered. "My daddy always said there's nothing pie can't make at least a little better," she explained. "On the house, honey. I managed a week, thank you." But when she walked away, I finally broke. All the tears I'd been holding back came flooding out right there in that diner booth. A few minutes later, I felt a gentle hand on my shoulder. Darlene had returned, silently placing a box of tissues and a glass of water beside me. Then without a word, she sat in the booth across from me. "I lost my husband 3 years ago," she said softly. "Sometimes you need to cry with somebody who doesn't need anything from you." For 30 minutes, this stranger sat with me as I grieved. She shared stories about her husband, asked about my dad, and just listened. Before I left, she wrote her phone number on my receipt. "If you need a place to cry again," I never called, but I keep that receipt in my wallet to this day.